We'll talk about the plot of the 2018 movie The Island today. The news that a meteorite has veered off course and is speeding toward Earth shakes the world. In the meantime, as part of a team-building event, Ma and his younger brother Xiao are going on a trip with the company employees. Ma brings a lottery ticket with him on the trip in the hope of finally becoming wealthy and winning Shen's heart. The group gathers in front of the brightly colored sea vessel that will transport them to the site of the team-building activity. Without counting the employees, the group sets off as soon as Zheng, the company's president, arrives. Due to their lateness, Ma and Xiao must chase the vehicle until the president allows them inside. The sea coach takes off, and the driver, who goes by the nickname Dick, starts enthusiastically introducing himself to the passengers. He gives Zheng the opportunity to speak after the assistant to the company's president interrupts him. Each employee's salary will increase by 10% as a result of the increase in stock, the boss informs the workforce. Ma's enthusiastic exclamation interrupts the euphoria caused by this news. The man finds out that the lottery just gave him 60 million yuan. Everyone in the salon concludes that the man is overjoyed about his pay increase when he begins to sing and run around the salon. When they see a huge wave approaching their ship, everyone's joy turns to panic. Dick, the driver, prepares to navigate the wave after instructing the terrified passengers to don their life jackets. The tsunami is accompanied by a burning cargo ship, further complicating matters. The coach avoids hitting the ship and remains submerged thanks to the driver's enormous efforts. The passengers then watch in horror as a massive whale swims by them. The coach goes through a wave with it, and the current of the ocean carries the crew in an unknown direction. The boat comes to a rocky shore late in the afternoon. In an effort to recover from the terrible accident, the stunned passengers, the cries for assistance and wailing of women can be heard all around. Ma regains consciousness and is relieved to discover that he has retained the lottery ticket that won. He enters the jungle in an effort to locate his beloved Shen among the passengers. He discovers that the girl's leg has been pinched by a rock after hearing the girl scream in the distance. They find shelter in a crevice and spend the night there with the other surviving passengers after he assists his sweetheart in her escape. Arrives the second day after the crash. The driver approaches the huddled passengers in the cave and informs them that the previous day he had spent the day exploring the island and discovered some supplies. However, the disgruntled employees demand that Dick immediately contact his business and evacuate them. Unfortunately, there is no way to communicate. One of the team-building participants, Professor Shi, believes that the meteorite has hit Earth and destroyed all life in the area, as predicted by scientists. The passengers are appalled by the thought that the world is ending. Ma disagrees with the professor because he is so close to becoming wealthy that he cannot afford to lose everything. He tells people to get busy and figure out how to send a distress message. However, when it begins to rain on the island, the passengers are forced to hide once more in the ravine while they weep and shiver in the cold. The driver takes some of the staff into the jungle the following day to show them where to get food. However, the office workers aren't used to climbing trees, so as Dick does the work for them, they watch in awe. The populace gradually adjusts to island life. They make a satellite out of the tools they have and write a message on rocks near the shore with brightly colored life jackets. Unfortunately, they are unable to communicate with civilization. A loud explosion catches the islanders off guard at once. It turns out that President Zheng instructed Xiao to attempt to repair the sea transport, which resulted in yet another breakdown. The situation is hopeless, and the company president becomes enraged. His power and wealth are no longer relevant for the first time. When Dick brings the passengers food and water, they scurry at it like animals right away. The driver is enraged when some people complain about the flavor of the fruit. He reminds the people present that their position here is irrelevant. They must procure additional food on their own if they are hungry. Dick is supported by a portion of the group, which follows him into the jungle cave he discovered. The survivors eventually construct a fire and locate a safe location. Shen ignores Ma's timid attempt to speak with her and promises to take her off the island. In the meantime, the group decides that Dick the driver should be their new leader because he is the best person to help them survive on the island. The man accepts the responsibility but offers to establish some guidelines. The company's management doesn't like the news about the new leader, so they've decided to join the group as well. To let her feelings out, Shen leaves the cave. Ma stays with her like a loyal dog. The girl is about to yell into the empty space when her coworker shouts over her. Shen decides to go back to the cave after seeing the intrusive suitor and yells at Ma when he tries to talk to her. Dick organizes a general meeting for the men at dawn and divides them into teams. To help them survive on the island, each team must perform the following tasks: cooking, getting food, and getting water. Because his rules work, Dick soon becomes obsessed with his new power. Because Ma does not want to be under his control, he explores the island on his own for several days. The man discusses what he has learned over the past few days with his coworkers back in the cave. Because Shen tried to share food with Ma, Dick becomes furious and hits her with a stick. Dick slaps the man with ease and presses his face against the boiling water as the man tries to discipline the abuser of his sweetheart. Later, he ties Ma to a tree and warns the others that anyone who breaks his rules will suffer the same fate. Xiao helps his older brother break free of his chains at night. The following day, Ma makes the decision to attempt to sail away from the island and invites his younger brother to join him. Shen tries to stop Ma from fleeing when he comes across Ma on the shore. The man declares his willingness to put his life in danger in exchange for the winning lottery ticket. He finally decides to tell his coworker how he feels. He has been Shen's secret prince for all these years, arranging the best things that have ever happened to her and helping her deal with the difficult divorce. The girl, regrettably, does not feel the same way about her coworker. Ma tries to kiss his beloved after deciding he has nothing more to lose. However, he is harshly rejected. The irritated man abandons Shen on the shore, but he promises to come back for her if he makes it. The brothers boarded a small improvised raft and set out. Ma talks about his difficult and cruel upbringing with his brother along the way. The man's attention is suddenly drawn to the dead polar bear's floundering body in the water. The brothers take the bear carcass with them and return to the island believing that all the poles are submerged in water. The fugitives are punished by Dick by making them row on dry land. Every member of staff takes pleasure in observing the humiliation of the brothers. When Shen tells everyone about Ma's lottery ticket, his coworkers make fun of him even more. Since they had agreed to divide the lottery winnings in half, Xiao makes an effort to inquire about the game with his older brother. Ma, on the other hand, irritably pushes his brother away and suggests that he won't share the money. Soon, everyone realizes that they won't be able to leave the island. President Zheng throws away his useless money as he mourns over the image of his beloved daughter. The island's 21st day arrives. Dick's rule becomes increasingly pronounced. He orders Ma and President Zheng to catch fish for everyone as retribution for insubordination. The men have a pleasant conversation on the fishing trip, during which the former company leader admits that he understands Ma's feelings. He proposes that they band together to escape the island. President Zheng makes the decision to speak to his former subordinates in the evening, during yet another brawl between the islanders. He suggests that they do not stop climbing trees for food like animals do. The survival of the planet as a whole will depend on their progress if they are to become the last people to live there. Dick interrupts the leader's speech, despite the team's applause for it. He is of the opinion that logic and not rules are what people need to survive. He tells everyone to leave the cave if they disagree with him. There are 2 camps for the team. The president is followed by Ma, Xiao, and a few other staff members. Dick is still in charge of the team, including Shen. Zheng's group moves through the jungle until the president directs them to a ship that has capsized. They discover everything they need to live comfortably on the island, including fuel, as they explore the ship. President Zheng regains his crew's confidence in the end. Ma and Xiao are excited to see the enormous cruise ship that will be their new salvation the following morning. The brothers reunite while fishing and fantasize about how they will divide their wealth. In the meantime, the second camp starts having trouble finding food. He secretly adds fish to Ma's basket because he can't let his beloved starve. The proud girl initially refuses to accept her coworker's gifts, but when she learns that he can buy her soap, she gives up. Ma then carefully assists his beloved in washing her hair after bringing her to the ship. Later on, he takes her on a tour of the cruise ship and shows her all the amenities and supplies they were able to acquire. Shen tells her colleague that she broke up with her husband because she couldn't trust him after spending a lovely day together. President Zheng intervenes during the intimate moment that follows between the couple. The girl decides to return to her camp, confused. Shen informs her group about the cruise ship, and they soon follow suit. President Zheng explains to the staff a strategy for working together to survive. He suggests making money out of a deck of cards. Subordinates will receive playing cards in a variety of denominations for completing tasks and using them to pay for food or other conveniences. Dick's group is interested in the offer, but the driver breaks Zheng's rules and takes his men away. The president is reminded of his plan to leave the island by a confused Ma. It turns out that Zheng was using the gullible brothers to accomplish his goals and never intended to flee. However, the brothers decide they no longer want to serve as slaves for another individual and depart Zheng's group for the jungle. The island's 66th day. In a helicopter that had also crashed, the brothers set up a new shelter. Ma only has 29 days to present his lottery ticket and receive his winnings. President Zheng's adversaries gradually begin to lose hope. They are unable to secure their sustenance without special equipment. The drained brothers decide to go back to the cruise ship after giving up hope of getting off the island. Jung has established a full trading operation on the ship during their absence, converting playing cards into a form of payment. Glad to be under the command of a strong leader who can provide them with food and comfort, some of Dick's men have joined his camp. Ma asks Jung for a fishing net when they meet. He asks the boss to beat the brothers and send them back into the jungle, but the boss rejects his request. Shen arrives at the brothers' hideout at night, concerned. She talks to them about the fish she got from Jung in exchange for instant noodles. Ma is dismayed by the fact that the girl also follows the rules set by the boss and refuses to accept her assistance. Ma tosses away all of the fish she brought with her when the offended Shen departs. 90 days have passed on the desert island. Ma, starving to death, regretfully examines the lottery ticket that will no longer bring him money. A fish appears out of nowhere, and then another, and another. Soon, a flood of fish that the storm tossed onto the island will arrive. The man realizes that he has his prized winnings after taking a second look at his lottery ticket. The brothers dry some of the fish in the trees after satisfying their hunger. A clever plan to take over the island appears in Ma's head. They first make their way to Dick's camp and offer to trade the fish for things that can't be fixed on the island. After that, they approach Jung and make the same offer to his group. After that, they divide the fish evenly between the two groups, pitting their leaders against one another because they will want more food for themselves. In the end, the brothers intend to gain control over Dick and Jung by discovering their weaknesses and secret desires. Ma arrives at the small cave where she takes a shower and makes the decision to apologize to Shen. But he doesn't realize until it's too late that another of his funny coworkers is inside, and she didn't mind getting compliments on her. From the cliff, Shen watched the man's speech all the time with a loving smile. During a subsequent fish distribution, Xiao convinces Dick's group to request a fishing net from Jung. Dick agrees to the settlement, but the president imposes his own terms on him. He must work for him or his group will have to return twice as many fish as they caught. Dick punches the boss in the head because he is annoyed by Jung's dismissive attitude. The former driver then directs his team to forcefully attack the enemy camp and seize the fish. As they watch the factions fight, the brothers smile happily because their plan has begun to bear fruit. Even though the day turns to night, the fighting between the two camps doesn't stop. The group is suddenly illuminated by a spotlight's bright light. Ma addresses the group through the ship's microphone and encourages them to work together to find a large landmass that must have survived the meteorite fall. Shen defends her friend while Jung mocks the man's proposal. The girl does not want to spend the rest of her life fighting for survival on the island. Ma demonstrates to his coworkers that if they work together, they have a good chance of escaping the island by using restored machinery as an example. The man is chosen as their new leader after the audience responds positively to his inspirational remarks. The conflict ends. Jung gives the hungry people hot food and lets them set up camp at the crew's camp. Ma instructs the crew to keep an eye on the weather and changes in sea level and to record their observations in a diary. After much anticipation, Dick finally gets a break and gives command to the new leader. In exchange for playing cards, Xiao shows Ma's co-workers pictures and messages from relatives on fully charged cell phones. The contented islanders collaborate with one another to hunt and have fun. They come up with a strategy to free their sea boat from the rocks by working together. The skilled Xiao is successful in regaining power throughout the crew's camp. The happy people celebrate by throwing a party and praising the brothers. Xiao throws playing cards into the crowd as he takes pleasure in the power he has gained and watches with pleasure as people throw themselves at them. Ma and Shen dive headfirst into a relationship and spend every spare moment together. The man begins to wonder if his girlfriend will stay with him when they leave the island after watching her. The islanders hear strange sounds that resemble gunshots during another party. The brothers and Dick, the driver, decide to travel to the mountains to locate the noise's source. Ma tells his brother on the way that he has heard these sounds before, and that he hears them every 12 days. They see a ship launching fireworks close to the island once they are out on the cliff. Dick rushes to the other people, ecstatic, to inform them that salvation is near. The brothers must return to the life of losers, so they cannot share his joy. In order to maintain his power, Xiao persuades his brother to conceal the truth from the crew. They inform the crew back on the cruise ship that Dick has lost his mind. The crew does not take his ravings about the fireworks ship when he returns to camp, and they conclude that he has simply lost his mind as a result of losing his power. An electric shock knocks out the poor man who is trapped in a refrigerator. The team is not permitted to enter the mountains at night, as Xiao imposes a new rule. Shen and Ma talk about what happened to Dick when they are left alone. The young woman admits that she is content to be on the island with her beloved and is afraid to return home. The man assures her that she will always be by Ma's side. There are a few more days. Ma's conscience begins to take over as she watches the group begin to bully Dick. Xiao assures his brother that they will soon return home and retain power. Jung declines to accept playing cards and agrees to trade the boy his quarters. It turns out that the president was buying fish all that time to regain control over his subordinates. Xiao found the company president's weak spot. Shen decides to have a wedding with her lover because she has regained her confidence in men. He is not happy that Ma's wildest wishes have been realized. He begins to yell that everything is a hoax as the crowd gathers to cheer on the couple. The man tries vainly to persuade the group that the ship actually exists. He asks Dick for help, but the poor man is already convinced that he is insane. A flimsy stun gun is used on him by those around him who conclude that Ma has also lost his mind. The man tries unsuccessfully to persuade his coworkers that what he says is true in the days before the ship arrives. But even Shen doesn't believe him because she thinks he was playing with her emotions. Xiao gives his brother hope and tells him about the riches they will find when they get back home. Dick accuses Ma of lying after overhearing their conversation. However, rather than engaging in combat, the man suggests that Dick team up with him to flee the island. Ma suggests to his brother, on the evening of the ship's arrival, that his brother intoxicate the crew to the point of unconsciousness in order to escape unnoticed. Dick breaks the fuel pipe while the party is going on and sneaks onto the ship unnoticed. He tries using the lighter to light the gasoline, but it doesn't work. Ma, on the other hand, grabs a torch and tells the crew to light the ship on fire so that others on board will see it and come to their aid. During the confrontation, the people still refuse to believe the man and attempt to steal the torch from him. The burning torch is thrown over Ma and Dick until it lands at Shen's feet. The man asks his beloved to put the ship on fire and trust him. The torch is thrown into the boat by the girl, but it does not reach the ship and ends up in the water. The drowsy President Jung lights a cigarette as he emerges from his cabin amid the chaos. The boss is electrocuted by Ma, and his cigarette falls out of his hand, igniting the boat. After that, he sets fire to the book in which Jung left Xiao his entire estate. After losing his only chance at a future free of poverty, the younger brother collapses in hysteria and falls to the ground. The people are trying to put out the ship, which has kept them alive for months, in a panic. They chase him through the mountains in an effort to exact their vengeance on Ma. The man reaches a cliff without calculating his speed and falls. He sees a rescue ship approaching their desert island as he flies by. With a grin on his face, the man remembers his coworkers' joyful laughter as he jumps into the water. He is thrown ashore the following morning. After he comes to his senses, he looks for the others but only finds Shen. She informs Ma that the ship couldn't wait much longer and that the entire crew has left. On the other hand, Shen has made the decision to wait for her beloved to spend some more happy days on the island together. Eventually, the survivors group gains worldwide acclaim. The island is purchased by President Jung for use as a resort. Xiao, who has been diagnosed with temporary amnesia, receives a visit from the entire team at the hospital. After all, Ma is able to collect his winnings. He wins the girl he has been courting for years in the company building.